Hello, you just reached MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. We're currently tying up phone lines and burning through cell minutes to get you closer to the guys on top of the boxes and over the wall down on pit road. Thank you for holding. You are now being connected to your hosts, Sammi Jo Francis and Rocko Williams.
No wonder I'm always hungry for chocolate. After watching our intro, welcome to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. I'm Sammi Jo Francis.
And I'm Rocko Williams. Do you want to do it or you want me to do it? Because we have the pleasure of having
the
Andy.
Best to ever do it.
The best to ever do it.
Sincere pleasure.
The sincere.
Sincerest.
This is very sincere, but Andy Papa, CEO, is here.
Nice.
AKA, if you can't read the board behind us, Big Papa.
Yes.
From Hendrick Motorsports. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it says Andy Papa. How many letters are actually in your last name?
There's 14 in the full-blown name. So
we
when
can't
you
fit
get
that
when you get north of DC, it's
Yeah.
Papathon.
Okay.
South of DC, that turns into Papa, just 4.
Yeah. All right.
That might be a Guinness Book of World Records.
That's a lot. But
yeah.
usually the Greek names are like.
Yeah.
You know what? They're long, but they're easy to pronounce. Like if you actually
Says
sound
the
it
Greek
out,
guy.
if you sound it out, it sounds just like it's spelled.
Sure, it does.
So,
Sure it does.
anyways, great to have you in. You and your name.
Okay. Well, I don't know what Andy Big Papa does.
Well, Andy is the Director of Human Performance at Hendrick Motorsports, and maybe you can elaborate a little bit on what you do at Hendrick Motorsports.
So Director of Human Performance, I guess, would be easiest to equate that to an athletic director at a college.
Okay.
Okay, so our pit department that I've been involved with for a number of years has built up to the point where we have coaches and trainers and facilities and rehab therapists and all those kinds of athletic departments that you would find in a college.
Right.
Okay, with its various sports teams. You know, we have our pit crews, we have our athletes, and I'm the director of those resources. I'm the director of that part.
So
of
you're
the
kind of
company.
a big deal. That's what you're talking about.
I like to think so.
Right.
I tell
Well, we think so,
I tell
too.
people I am.
That's why we brought you on. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, there was a big race in our backyard.
It was a big
past
race,
weekend.
inaugural race, the
Yes.
Roval in Charlotte. It was a very exciting race. I enjoyed the race thoroughly. I got excitement. There was a lot of unknowns, you know.
Right.
Going into this race, you would agree there was a lot of unknowns.
Just watching practice.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
the teams were a bit antsy. When you have antsy teams and teams nervous and crew members not really knowing what to expect, usually you get a good race out of that. So I got everything that I was looking for as it relates to that race. I would have liked the race to be a longer, just for me. I want to see more pit stops, but I feel like the guys did pretty well. They did well. And I love the excitement, the drama that you had with cars on the cusp, trying to make it into the playoffs, not making it into the playoffs.
Just watching the cars hit the turns was my favorite, because I'm not used to seeing like the turns so close together like that at Charlotte.
And
like
I'm telling
Charlotte
you,
is not normally that entertaining.
It's not. And there was a lot that went into it. And on your end, Andrew, from your perspective, leading up to that week, to that race, how did you prepare your crew members, your pit crew specifically, for this race? Did
Mentally
you do anything differently?
Sure. Well, the difference for us was, okay, we can prepare for oval races, for banked ovals, and the track, the car is set up a certain way. And then when we go to road courses, the car is set up a different way, and those two varying setups will affect how the car behaves on a pit stop. Okay, so it was like, well, which way is the car going to behave? What is the setup going to be? There were elements of both, but because they were both all together at once, it was a completely new, a new way of
Hybrid.
a hybrid car that we had to pit. So the spacing underneath the car, underneath the frame rails, all of that was a little bit different. The way the car came up was a little bit different. And when you're talking about tenths of a second, all those little differences can be big issues for the pit crew in trying to adapt to that new style.
I'll tell you what caught my attention initially is when I went to the Xfinity race, I would see the guys hit the turtles those little speed bumps.
Side note, did you hear Clint Boyer? He said, I don't know why they call them turtles. They're mean. They're like snapping turtles.
Right.
Exactly.
Stay away. Avoid them.
At all costs.
And why you should do that is because the cars that had that hit those speed bumps, those turtles, I would see and I would hear that they would knock the jack bolts completely off that
Right,
car.
we were concerned about that.
Completely
Absolutely.
off the car. And when you try to pit a car without a jack bolt, I mean, it could really add a lot of time to your car, especially if you're not prepared for it. But, you know, talking with the teams after that and leading up into the Cup race, a lot of them were moving their jack bolts up, you know, 2 and 3 inches just to prevent that. But that is stuff that you didn't plan for before.
Well, that's right. And again, when something like that happens, it doesn't sound like a big change, 2 or 3 inches.
Especially not to the normal person.
Right, difference in height.
Yeah.
But that affects the way the jackman will get the jack under the car, put the first stroke in, that handle's in a different position. All of that affects his timing in getting the car up. So those are big changes.
I thought this was going to be a quick recap of the Roval, but I have so many more questions, and we're going to have to get back to the Roval, but we'll do it.
I thought that was quick. Isn't that quick?
No, I have more questions. That's what
more
I'm saying. But first, we have to get a commercial, and then we'll come back and you'll answer more questions, right?
I will.
Okay, great. We'll be right back with more MRN Crew Call.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job, our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
Hey guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com, that's blue like the color blue. BlueChew.com brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know that they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach, and since they're chewable, they can work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises. Blue Chew is prescribed online and shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor's visit, no waiting in the pharmacy, and best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when using our special promo code RACING. Just pay $5 shipping. Again, that's BLUEChew.com, promo code RACING to try it free. Blue Chew, it's the better, cheaper, faster choice.
Thank you for listening to our program. If you like what you hear, tell your friends. If you don't, tell them we're Wings Nation. You're being transferred back to Sammi Jo and Rocko.
Welcome back to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. Sammi Jo Francis hanging out with
Rocko Williams and Andy Papa.
Papa, that's all we need.
We'll give it the short version
Papa.
today. What were we talking about, Sandy? Sammy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had replaced me since last week with Sandy.
No.
Maybe you're just hinting what I'll be for Halloween. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe. You're ready for Halloween, too.
I am, hence the orange and black. Are you a Halloween person?
I can be convinced. I can be talked into it.
I'm okay with that. Okay, let's go back to the Roval, which was scary. See?
It was.
See what I did there? I tied it all in. Okay, so talking about the Roval, you said when you move something 2 to 3 inches, it doesn't seem like a huge difference. But if you do that, did you do that prior to getting to the track? Or did you do that as an adjustment right after practice?
There were adjustments that were made.
So you can't
at
even
the
practice
track.
that.
No, it affects everything. It's just like taking a crew member away.
Yeah.
You know, and in practice. And that's why I want to talk to you.
That's
I really want to get your opinion on when you heard that they were removing a crew member from the pit crew. What went through your head, and what was that process to get to where your guys are now, where your teams are now with that 5-man pit crew?
Sure. So when the announcement was made, certainly I think people, I guess, tend to default to gloom and doom, right? But what
because they don't like change.
Well, because they don't like change, right? So what you have to realize is if you've been around long enough. When I first got into racing, there were 8 people ultimately allowed over the wall.
That seems like a lot of people. It seems like too many people.
It seems cluttered now.
Right.
Now that I look at it.
Sure.
Right.
So to go from 8 to 7 to 6, okay, to 5.
Is it going to be a one-man crew at the end of this?
Yeah, right. You know, at some point, it's got to. you've got to stop.
Right.
But it was just another change in the sort of history of changes to what's happened over the wall. So with that, with having that understanding, okay, and then the fact that I think, personal opinion, Hendrick Motorsports tends to adapt to changes better than other organizations.
I'm going to say you're a little biased.
A little bit biased, but I saw it as an opportunity for us.
Yeah.
And I think
to gain that competitive edge?
Absolutely. To be better than the competition, because I think we would, over a set period of time, adapt to that change better than other organizations.
And now that we're to the playoffs.
And history has proven me out. And for me, the accolade, I'm on the
correct?
show. I've gotten the reward. I'm on the show.
That's right.
So you can't say that I am incorrect.
No, we would never say that to your face. But now that we're in the playoffs and you made that prediction that you would be the better team because you think you adjust better, how do you think it's gone so far?
Well, I think because don't forget, not only the five-man pit crew, but new guns, the Paoli guns, and all same thing.
Which we heard a lot about at the beginning of the season.
Absolutely, but the same category. You see, what happened with the guns is it took, let's say it took organizations, including Hendrick, we were, all the big teams were building their own guns. Okay, so the mentality for the tire changer was, help make a gun to suit my style. This little tweak, that little tweak, front to rear, team to team. Okay, and it took that and it turned it 180 degrees to where now you have to have changers that have to adapt to this same piece of equipment. And I say same, it's the same gun for everybody, but it's a different gun even week to week.
Yep.
Right.
So
at random, right?
From us trying to get it right for you, now you've got to change to make it right for whatever we put in your hands on race morning.
It puts the skill back into it.
That's right. And again, back to my original comment about Hendrick, I felt we would adapt better to that circumstance than other teams.
And you feel that way through preparation, planning, organization.
And just your outlook, like what is your job? Your job is to handle any issues that come up, right? It's to do the standard pit stop. But there are lots of things that are non-standard that happen at the racetrack.
Absolutely.
So that's part of your job as well.
That's what you always discuss is trying to practice the unplanned.
Right. It's problem. You have to be a problem solver.
Right.
Okay. You can't just get this perfect thing as whatever.
I feel like
your
I'm getting
definition.
life coaching right now.
So you can't get this perfect thing, whatever your definition of perfect is, handed to you.
Right.
You just get this thing, this equipment or these rules or whatever it is, and man, get through it.
Yeah. So how do you said at the beginning, when people hear of change, I go, oh, this is going to be the worst, doom and gloom. How do you prepare your guys of all your departments to go, flip the script, let's change it for a different perspective and make this something we can use to our advantage?
You can best explain that. Then you can explain it. If you talk about your role, the guys that you have hired, your pit crew coaches, and how they delegate how you delegate responsibility programs you have to make that process successful.
Sure. Well, so at Hendrick, as I mentioned, my role is best described like an athletic director.
Right.
So the athletic director has a certain amount of resources in their division or in their department. Right. So we have coaches and trainers and rehab therapists and orthopedic surgeons that come and make the round, and nutritionists and sports psychologists, chiropractors that come for a wellness program. So all of those people.
It's like a med spa, pretty much.
It is.
And not just in top notch.
Of course.
The best
it's
of
Hendrick,
the best.
Of course.
So all of those people and resources are there as support systems for the pit crew. So by design, we're there to adapt and change and sort of get everything right for the guys, and they're the tip of the spear. They're the ones that have to go out there and perform.
Right.
So we're sort of all in this together. The whole point of being there is to adapt and produce a better result to these types of changes that come up, whether they're dictated by rules or just dictated by race circumstances at the track. And that's what we're all there to do. So that's what we do. We do.
They do what they do.
I like it.
And Big Papa, we trust.
I mean, don't you have that tatted on you somewhere?
I'm telling you.
So?
I mean, when you have a foundation like that, you when the unexpected happens, you can always fall back on that foundation, and usually if that foundation is solid, you will come out on a positive end of that experience. And with pit crews, that's how we live. That's you're meticulously challenged on every small detail that you're doing. That I feel like what you're doing is installing a foundation with these athletes where they don't have to second guess themselves when they're at the track. When something unexpected happens, they can fall back on what they're due with that foundation that they've been given at practice.
Almost like an autopilot.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And it just happens so naturally. And I really feel a difference. I really see your teams, the teams as a whole, all four of the teams, and even the developmental teams, they are a step above a lot of the other teams out there.
Well, thank you.
Ooh, you better get that on replay so I can play that when we got other teams here.
And I might be biased, but hey, at the same time, it is what it is. And we have the Penske's teams, they're doing very well. We've had Gibbs teams in here, they're doing really well.
We've had several.
But as a whole, as a unit, there's a reason why there's a lot of ex-Hendrick athletes elsewhere. Because those guys are
because they have
coveted.
an athletic director like this guy. That's why.
That's the secret sauce.
Yes. So you just stay at Hendrick and they're
look
set.
at a lot of teams, you'll see a lot of ex-Hendrick guys there. So when they move on from Hendrick, they get snatched up very, very quickly because of that foundation, and they know that, okay, they were taught the right way.
You know who else has a good foundation?
Who's that?
AAA.
Triple
And let me tell you why.
Tell me
you
why.
may not be a professional race car driver, but AAA can still help keep you and your car on track. With tools to help you win every stage of car ownership, visit AAA.com. We'll be back with more MRN Crew Call right after this.
Clutch Coffee Bar in Mooresville, North Carolina is redefining the drive-thru coffee game in Race City, USA. The Clutch experience is quick, efficient, and personal. Unmatched customer service is the name of the game. Clutch Coffee Bar offers signature espresso drinks, classic coffees, custom-flavored infused energy drinks, smoothies, and more. With over 25 flavors, there's something for everyone. Visit our 2 locations in Mooresville, 356 Williamson Road and 154 West Plaza Drive. Open daily 5 a.m. till 9 p.m. Power up today with Clutch Coffee Bar.
Grunt Style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-242-1706, 800-242-1706.
Thank you for joining MRN Crew Call. If you know your party's extension, please send it along. I haven't been to a good one in years. Now, here's Sammi Jo and Rocko.
Welcome back to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. We are hanging out with the one and only Big Papa.
You like that name?
Yeah.
You like that name.
It rolls off the tongue.
Don't get in trouble.
I won't. I'm being good. we are getting the inside scoop of why Hendrick is just a step above everybody else. Mm-hmm. And part of that is because of this guy.
Yep.
But I don't know how you got to where you got.
Let's take it back to 1994. Let's take it back to Ray Evernham. Let's take it back to those days when mechanics were the primary focus of the pit stop. It was a mechanical technique.
So this is, you can innovate with equipment, you can innovate with technology, you can innovate with thought, okay? So way back then, we, Hendrick Motorsports, and what was to be Jeff Gordon's new team, this is even before we were even out on the track, Ray Evernham, guy who hired me, guy who put that whole deal together.
What did he hire you as?
So he hired me as a pit crew coach. That was actually what I was hired as. Now, I had to work in the shop, right, because back then the teams were so small and there was no such thing as a pit crew.
Multiple roles.
There was no such thing as a pit crew coach. Yeah, I kind of earned my money sweeping the floors and then did my pit crew coaching. Once my debt to Hendrick had been paid, then I could kind of go do my thing. But Ray wanted someone to be in charge of the pit crew.
Okay.
Okay, and so
Was this before that was really a role?
Yeah, there was no role like
so
that.
this is another innovative thing.
When you, like Dion mentioned, when you had a bunch of mechanics, okay, you had the guys that built and maintained the race cars.
Sure.
So lots of technical skill and experience. Okay, well, those guys relied on their level of ability in building and maintaining the cars, working with those tools every day, to then go jump out there on Sunday, be in uniform, give it hell as the pit crew. Okay, well, for those guys that were so busy during the week, for someone to try to tell them to now sit in front of a tire and pull it off and put it on for an hour, they got better things to do, right?
Right.
Okay, but when you bring in athletes, and it didn't really matter what sport, like there's a lot of ties to football, but football can cause as many problems for you over the wall as it can help you with the mentality that works in football. So football, baseball, wrestling, lots of different sports, and we'll say on a collegiate level, when you bring them, those athletes, into racing that now don't know anything about NASCAR, but they know how to practice. They know the importance of practice and repetition. They understand the idea of coaching. They understand how to overcome adversity, right? They've maybe played in front of literally tens of thousands of people, 100,000 people.
Yeah.
They've competed in front of crowds like that. Okay, so they have the building blocks of how they need to succeed in the competitive world of NASCAR. Now you just got to teach them how to use a jack, how to use a gun.
Which are teachable.
Which are teachable. And that was how the program was born.
So how do you, as your beginning role, evolve throughout going from 8 to 7 to 6 to 5,
First,
and then moving your way up?
Let me see if you recognize this name, Sammy.
Okay.
Kevin Gilman, Mike Belden, Chris Anderson, Barry Muse, Darren Jolly.
Oh, yeah. I'm Facebook friends with all of them.
Jeff Knight.
Yep.
How about this one? Chad Knaus. You know that
it
one?
rings a bell.
Maybe a little more familiar.
What were those names I just read to you?
So those were our pit crew.
Those were his top 8 on MySpace.
Including Chad. Chad was one of our tire changers.
Yep.
Wow. That's wild.
Those were the guys that changed the game.
Yeah.
And they took it from that mechanical event to an athletic event. Basically what you're doing is, and at the time, did you even realize what you were doing, or was it just something that came natural, like, oh, this is good?
Going
was
with
it
the
that
evolution.
thought out, or was it
at
just...
the time, I realized I needed to pay my rent.
Okay.
And I had no other foundation for how to do it. Okay, we weren't trying to be whatever. We were trying to win races. And like I said, I had zero NASCAR experience, zero stock car racing experience.
What did you do before NASCAR?
I was not that long out of college.
And college was?
So college was Stanford University, which you can't see, but I'm pointing to it right now. The mighty trees.
Yes.
And did you know that
Cardinal
is not a cardinal, it's the tree.
That's right. Cardinal color, cardinal red, kind of like Alabama, right? Crimson Tide.
We don't say that on this show.
Cardinal red, but the sequoia, the mighty sequoia, is kind of our visual.
So out of
logo.
college, you thought, it's going to be a good sport for me to get into? NASCAR.
No, see, out of college, so I did I graduated and was working in a company, a corporation at the time. I was working at Oracle Computer, actually, on the contract side, business side, and I was afraid to put on the suit and tie and join the dreaded management training program. Like, what else you got?
Exactly.
So I literally fell into NASCAR just looking for a way.
How often is that the story?
I think I've said that about 15,000 times.
Yeah. But it is
I snuck into the
somewhat
Sonoma
luck
race.
and timing.
I started by breaking the law. That was my first official NASCAR.
We don't endorse that.
No, kids stay in school. Kids. But that's what I did. I was actually out. I graduated. I'd already graduated.
Right.
So I got my diploma, and then I broke the law.
I'm telling you, when we're teaching recruits, when we're trying to explain pit stops, the Rainbow Warriors always comes up. And I think they're not when they're first starting out, they don't understand the magnitude that event has.
Rainbow Warriors. I'm a visual learner. Do we have like a picture to
Yeah,
support
we do.
this?
I mean, if you can show, we have a picture.
I'm a visual learner.
But you know,
Yeah. Now, listen.
that?
All right, let me explain this picture. Number one, we can see how
We can see
things
those
have
shorts.
progressed because we have our guys now that are in. I'll explain the shorts. But
Sure.
we have guys, in full like company practice gear that practice. Okay, that's what we were practicing in back then. Just stuff you would bring from home, shorts.
So those shorts are
and
yours?
T-shirts.
You sure those you weren't doing a narrow leg commercial?
Those are my rugby. Those are my.
Who wears
Listen,
shorts?
those are 100% cotton.
Okay,
Number one.
all right.
Okay,
So comfortable.
all weather. Official rugby shorts. I actually used those to play rugby in college when I was done with my football. So those came with me to Charlotte. But that was a picture that was actually featured in one of the Sports Illustrated stories that they
The
did
swimsuit edition.
in the early. Well, there was no ESPN didn't have the body just yet.
All right.
So we went with Sports Illustrated, and they were featuring the pit crew and the team in one of their stories about this new guy Jeff Gordon.
Right. Yeah, this new guy who, people kind of know of.
Yeah.
So I wanted to look my best.
Well, and you did. You looked fantastic. Well, coming up, we are going to preview a little bit of Dover, which is next up, and your thoughts on that.
Yep.
But stay tuned. We've got more ahead. I feel like we could talk to you for a whole nother hour.
Oh, I can talk. So
What? All right. We'll be back with more MRN Crew Call right after this.
Hey guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue. BlueChew.com brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know that they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they can work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises. Blue Chew is prescribed online and shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor's visit, no waiting in the pharmacy, and best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when using our special promo code RACING. Just pay $5 shipping. Again, that's BLUEChew.com, promo code RACING to try it free. Blue Chew, it's the better, cheaper, faster choice.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcast elevates your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
Austin Dillon leads the pack. No one ever thought he would contend for the win. He's going to win the 60th running of the Daytona 500.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
Hello, MRN Crew Call. Uh-huh. All right. Okay. Well, let me transfer you to someone who actually cares. Here's Sammi Jo and Rocko.
All right, Rocko, I'm here. I found my 2 clutch performers of the week of last week. I have tire changers. Your names? Daniel Coffey. How fitting that you're winning the Clutch Performer of the Week awards. And who we have here?
Chris McMullen.
Chris McMullen. Tire change for number 10. Eric Almirola. I just want to say congratulations, guys. Y'all did a very good job last week. You finished 6th. Solid day on pit road. It was uneventful for both of you guys. And I just want to present you with your vouchers for Clutch Coffee Bar. Go there. Rocko sent you. You can get anything you want.
Sweet.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
How you feeling about today?
We just got to keep the fenders on it today. We're pretty good in the points right now, so get through the next round. That's the only thing we're working on.
Cool.
Trying to survive, man. Trying to survive.
How many stops?
4.
You think 4?
Yes, 4.
I'm thinking 4 stops. We're going to see today. Congratulations, guys. Appreciate what you do, and good luck today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
I don't know. They didn't seem too excited.
Yeah, no, they were stressed. It's the Rovals.
I saw
They were a
the
little
fear in their
nervous.
eyes.
The camera.
Yeah.
It was like an episode of
who
Cheater.
is
It looked
this
like
guy?
an episode of Cheaters
Right?
or something.
It really
Like, What
did.
is going on over
And
there?
I really like the slaw stick a little bit better with the GoPro.
I know.
You get more of your face.
Hey, even I was excited at the Roval. There was a lot of unexpected things I was looking for. So
Listen,
I did my best.
That was last week's Clutch Performer, and congrats to them, blah, 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 whatever. Let's go to this week's Clutch Performer.
This week's Clutch Performer of the Week goes to, again, the number 88, William Rowdy Harrell. You know,
and that is presented by Clutch Coffee Bar.
Yes, it is. You can go get all the coffee you want. He may or may not have swayed me at the track with his with the look that he was rocking.
Listen, I didn't think you could buy the judge's vote.
Hey, I don't know, but I'll have a picture next week, and I'll let you be the judge
of his fashion.
Of his fashion.
All right, so
it may or may not have swayed me, but
you can tell me, was Andy your reason for fashion? I mean, you saw those shorts, and that was back in the day.
You know, Andy has always been ahead of his time. You know, even when it came to innovating pit stops, to fashion forward thinking, to
sports fashion.
Wow.
And we're not going to even talk about the training in the weight room, because you're one who stays on his workout regimen.
I try. Yep. Listen, when that's my that's my thing there. I can't be all out of shape.
That's right, especially if you've got rugby shorts to fit into.
That's right.
So Dover is coming up. What are your thoughts on Dover? Now in the playoffs.
Right, so Dover's a 1 mile track. Pit road is a little bit treacherous. It's a little bit tight. You know, as the tracks tighten down, the pit road tends to tighten down. I think right now the most important thing, in addition to the particular track that you're at, is where that falls in the playoff routine, right? Like, we're starting all over again. Yep. It's 1 out of 3. So, you know, you don't want to come out of the gate, whether it's with the car or with the crews, and be at a deficit heading out of Dover.
Right.
So you gave him the day off. You gave him the whole week off this week, right?
Yeah, no, not the week off, but I'll tell you, you know, we are getting towards the end of a long season. That's another thing, too. You can't just keep pouring the reps to it, because you run out of body parts.
You do.
You burn everybody out.
So you have to balance that at practice. So even though you're in the most important part of the season, especially for our teams that are still in the playoffs, but you just can't do 100 reps in the week.
I mean, you could, because you stay in the weight room.
Well, that's
but everybody else,
and
100 reps,
my cotton shorts would actually stay with me for the entire time, so I wouldn't have to worry anything.
That's what it should have been. MRN Crew Call, presented by Andy's rugby shorts.
Let's keep the cotton shorts off the show. We're definitely going to have him back, because we
so much more to talk about.
We didn't even talk about, you know, what we're doing with recruiting.
Yeah.
With the Drive for Diversity, we have the young guys.
So we're going to have to bring you back.
We're going to have to.
I'd love to come back.
Okay, good.
We're going to have to come
We've
back.
got him. All right. But in the meantime, you guys need to know what MRN coverage is looking like for this weekend at Dover. We've got pole qualifying on Friday. That begins at 3:30. We've got the Xfinity Series 200 at 2:30 on Saturday. And then on Sunday, it is the Dover 400, the monster, at 1 p.m.
I forgot to bring my miles.
That's all right. So we'll have to get you over to Clutch Coffee, and then we'll have to have you back on the show. How's that sound?
Oh, yeah. Wait till you get me on caffeine. See how much I talk.
Great. We'll see you next week on MRN Crew Call.
Oh, the cotton shorts.